ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన NSR ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి జేఈఈ అయినా నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ NSR ఇంపల్స్.
Right. Now in vernalization, what is that we are saying? Low temperature induces flowering. What did we say? Low temperature induces flowering. Okay. So here in this case what we do is, in generally we divide into three categories. The three categories of the plants. Okay, they are called spring varieties. Let us take winter varieties, then spring varieties, then we take what is called summer varieties. Okay, some plants they requires very short duration of light, low temperature but long night exposure. They are called winter varieties. The plants which give flowers in winter are called winter varieties. The plants which we place them in the spring season are called spring varieties. I hope you got clear varieties. You know, in some plants we plant in a particular season, or they give flowers only in a particular season. Either we plant them in a particular season or we get flowers in a particular season, right? Just now I told you jasmine, right? Jasmine flowers only in summer season, so that is called summer variety. Some we have to put it in winter only, then only germination occurs. They are called winter varieties. Some we have to put in spring season, then only germination occurs. They are called spring varieties. So altogether we divide the plants into three categories. What are the three categories? Winter varieties, spring varieties and summer varieties. So for example, spring varieties, now you kept the seed here. So the seed will undergo germination. Then, so when you plant them, so here by the end of growing season, they gives flowers. Flowers, or what you say, then flowers gives fruits or yield will come. By the end of growing season, by the end of growing season, by the end of growing season. What's the meaning of this? Spring variety means the variety which is planted in the spring season. Now you kept the seed in the spring season. I am repeating again, you kept the seed in the spring season. Now what happened? The seed will undergo germination. Now you have to wait for more 1 year, because you have to cross summer season, rainy season and come back to spring season. Okay, then it gives flowers and fruits will come by the end of growing season. By next year end of spring season, growing season means by the end of next year spring season, you can see flowers and fruits. They are called as spring varieties. They are called as what? Spring varieties. Now let us talk about winter varieties. Suppose now you kept winter variety. Now you planted the seed here. Okay, so here these seeds fails to germinate in winter. Okay, suppose you take winter variety. In winter variety you kept the seed, but seed will not germinate in winter variety. Why? It remain in the process called dormancy. It will be in the process called as what? Dormancy. See the difference. What is the difference here? Spring variety, if you place it in the soil, in spring season itself it will undergo germination. Young plantlet will come, wait for until the next year. By the end of growing season, means by next year spring season, happily flowers will come and you can take the fruits. And that is nothing but the thing what you find for spring variety. Does you think the same thing happens for winter variety? No. What happens in winter variety? In winter variety, seeds are placed here. Okay, in winter variety, the seeds are placed here, but seeds fails to germinate. They will fail to germinate. They will not germinate. They fail to germinate in winter season. Why? Because they remain in dormancy. So, you are not supposed to plant the seeds of winter varieties. Then when do you have to plant? You have to plant this in summer season. So, when you keep the winter variety, seed here, then seed will undergo germination when within the summer season. Winter variety not to keep in winter season, no. Winter variety should not keep in winter season. What precaution you have to do? Winter variety seed, you have to put it in summer season. Winter variety seed is planted here, then within the summer season it will undergo germination. Yes, then by end of next year, then in winter season flowers will come, and then that gives what are called fruits or grains, or we say yield will come. Okay, so don't confuse with this. If you can listen carefully, this is very easiest one. Summer varieties, you have to put it in summer, and by summer you will get the seeds. So no problem for the summer variety. Okay, summer varieties you can keep in the summer, that's in summer, and by next summer you can see the plant will grow. By next summer you will get the yield. Okay, so I repeat again. Spring varieties. When you keep the seed in spring season, they will undergo germination and they have to wait for more 1 year. By the next year spring season, by the end of growing season, by the end of spring season, flowers will come, fruits will come. So, this is nothing but about spring varieties. This year if you plant the seed, if you soak the seed into the soil, by next year you have to wait by next year, by the end of next year, by the end of next spring season, growing season is spring season, by the end of next spring season flowers and fruit formation takes place. Then what about the winter varieties? If winter variety seed, if you plant in winter season, generally it fails to germinate in winter. Why? Because the seed will undergo dormancy. So, winter variety seed does not require moisture content. If moisture content is more, it undergo dormancy. To avoid this, what we have to do? In summer season itself, winter variety seed if you place it, it will undergo germination and gives what you call, wait for next winter season. Okay, so in summer season you planted the winter variety, wait for complete 1 year. By the next winter season, because it's a winter variety, by next winter season flowers or fruit yield will come. So that is nothing but what? Winter varieties. Next, summer varieties can be planted in summer. By next summer there is a possibility of getting the yield. Okay, so let us talk about some more examples. Let us take biennials. What are biennials? Let us take some examples of vernalization. What are biennials? The biennials, they have lifespan for 2 years. Okay, the plant has lifespan for 2 years. They survive for 2 years. What they will do in 2 years? In the first year, it's called vegetative phase. It's called vegetative phase and forms vegetative organs. It forms vegetative organs. What are vegetative organs? Root, stem, leaves, branches. So, in the first 1 year of lifespan, it develops the vegetative organ. Simply it is called vegetative phase. And in the second year of lifespan, now it forms the flowers. Flowers will undergo reproduction. Fertilization takes place. Then zygote embryo formation occurs. Zygote, then into embryo, then into a fruit or seed. Fruit or seed formation occurs. That is nothing but second year. Suppose if you take, for example, you can take some examples. What are the examples we can take? You can take some examples like carrot, cabbage, and also you can take some example like radish, beetroot. In this case, what happens? In the second year, food storage takes place, or then you can take that in the second year, they stores food. They stores food materials. Okay, so these all are nothing but what? They all are biennials. What are they? Carrot, cabbage, radish, beetroot. These all are nothing but what? Biennials. These biennials, one more point you remember, these biennials are monocarpic. What's the meaning of monocarpic? Monocarpic I am writing here. So, better let me write there only. They flowers only once in a year. Flowers only once in lifespan. Flowers only once in lifespan. Then they are called as what? Monocarpic. Mono means only once. I think you remember in sexual reproduction in flowering plants, you know bamboo we have. Stobilanthus kuntiana. At that time I told you to remember monocarpic. So, don't ever expect mono means one, carpic means carpel, one carpel. No, it is not the correct one. Monocarpic means not one carpel. Guys, you remember what is monocarpic? Monocarpic means flowers only once in lifespan. In the entire lifespan, flowering occurs only once. Okay, you know bamboo plant, you know century plant, 100 years lifespan. End of the lifespan it will give flowers and it will die. So, flowering occurs only once in their lifespan. They are called monocarpic. So, these all biennials are monocarpic. They give yield only once. They survive for 2 years. First 1 year it is called vegetative phase. Second year it is called reproductive phase, and they store food in the end of second year. Biennials having 2 years lifespan, they store by the end of second year. So, what are they? Carrot, cabbage, radish, beetroot all will come under biennials. So, they all get exposed to low temperature. So, they give more yield in less span of time. They are also good examples of vernalization, right. So, I will quickly repeat this. Look at here, in vernalization what is the concept we are discussing? In vernalization we are discussing low temperature induces flowering. Low temperature induces flowering. So, we divide the plants into 3 categories: winter varieties, spring varieties, summer varieties. What are spring varieties? Here seed germination happens. When you plant the seed in spring season, you have to wait for 1 year. by the next year spring season itself is growing season. By the end of growing season, by next spring season, you can see flowers and fruit formation takes place. Then they are called as what? Spring varieties. Then the same thing happens in winter varieties? No. What happens in winter varieties? Suppose if you place the seed, it will fail to germinate in winter season. It will not germinate. Why? Because seeds remain in dormancy. We studied dormancy for the last class, right? Then what is the solution for this? We have to keep it in winter variety seed. We have to plant in summer season. Then what happens? In summer season here, when you place the winter variety seed, it will undergo germination and wait for next 1 year. By the end of next year in winter season, next year in winter season, flowers, fruits or yield will come. So, this is nothing but what we call winter variety. Next is what we call summer varieties. They will be planted in the summer. Fruits and flowers will come by the end of summer season. They are called summer varieties. So, all three varieties, they respond differently to low temperature. Now, another important example is biennials. The plants which show lifespan for 2 years. In the first year, vegetative phase, that forms vegetative organs. Which vegetative organs? Roots, stem, leaves and branches are well developed. Vegetative organs are well developed. So, the first year is called vegetative phase, and the second year it forms the flowers. Flowers undergo reproduction, fertilization takes place, zygote forms, embryo forms, that leads to formation of the fruit and seed. So, here you will get the yield along with the storage of food materials in case of carrot, cabbage, radish, beetroot. All are examples for biennials. And one more very important thing is, what is another thing very important? In this case, the biennials are monocarpic, very important. Biennials are monocarpic. What is monocarpic meaning? Very important. What is monocarpic? Flowering occurs only once in their lifespan. Then they are called as what? All these are examples for monocarpic. Apart from this, earlier we discussed like bamboo plant, Strobilanthes kunthiana, and even we discussed century plant, agave plant, right? Century plant. These all are examples which we discussed earlier under concept called monocarpic. This is totally nothing but what we call vernalization. Now, so far what we have discussed will come under plant growth regulators. So, in that very in detail we studied about plant growth promoters, auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, and plant growth inhibitors we discussed about abscisic acid and what you call ethylene. Then we discussed other concepts like photoperiodism, vernalization. So, we discussed all that all together one chapter which we completed, which is nothing but what? Plant growth regulators. Now, let us go with the next chapter. What is the next chapter? New chapter. The chapter is, it's a new chapter. Let us go with the new lesson, that is nothing but transport in plants. Okay, what is the next chapter? Transport in plants. So, here we have what is called as plant physiology. What we have is nothing but plant physiology. There is a separate branch of biology called plant physiology. What is the meaning of physiology? It talks about physiological functions. Physiology speaks about physiological functions. What are the functions? Physiology means it speaks about functions. What are the functions plant will perform here? It performs major one, you know, photosynthesis. First one is transportation. Okay, what is a branch of physiology? The branch of science which deals with physiological functions. Physiology means functions. What type of functions takes place within the plant? So, the study of physiological processes which occurs in the plant is the branch called plant physiology. So, what are the physiological functions takes place in the plant? The functions which happens within the plant if you start listing out what are the functions, the first one is transportation, second one is photosynthesis. Okay, what is the second one? Photosynthesis, then followed by respiration. Okay, translocation, and then transpiration. Okay, right. So, here even including of course conduction of food and minerals, even transportation of, transmission of plant growth regulators, plant growth hormones. This is what we completed. What are plant growth hormones? We completed. Now, let us see how they get transmitted from one place to other place. So, generally plant will do the functions like photosynthesis, respiration, then transportation from one place to other place. What is translocation? We will study now in this for a longer distance transport. What is translocation? Transportation for a long distance, it is called translocation. Since from lower classes you know what is called transpiration. Similarly, conduction of food materials, how food is getting transported, then transmission of plant growth hormones. So, this all will come under the functions of plant. In that, what is the first one we have to discuss is called transportation. Okay, so we will come back to the transporting plants, that is the first function we are going to discuss. Later we will discuss even photosynthesis and even we will discuss what is called respiration. Right, now we are coming to the plant physiology. Whenever you get the question that I am giving you questions, so sometimes you will get the question that, questions means note points, very important note points. Who is the father of plant physiology? Who is the father of plant physiology? Then you have to remember the answer. The scientist name Stephen Hales. Stephen Hales. Okay. Who is the father of plant physiology? Stephen Hales. Stephen Hales is referred as father of plant physiology. So, if you take the plant physiology here, about plant physiology, the branch of plant physiology, who is the scientist who kept much effort means we need to remember about Stephen Hales. Sometimes the question will come, who is the father of Indian plant physiology? Indian plant physiology. Then you have to remember who is the Indian plant physiology. Remember very importantly Jc Bose. Very important. What is it? Who is Jc Bose? You know, we call Jagadish Chandra Bose. Okay, Jagadish Chandra Bose, you know, very most familiar person, right, but he was also referred as scientist, freedom fighter, right, and also the great scientist who has done wonderful effort in studying about plant physiology in our India. So, who is Indian plant physiology is nothing but Jc Bose, Jagadish Chandra Bose. Now, let us study about introduction about Jc Bose. We are going to discuss now Jc Bose. Okay, Jc Bose, he got awarded a fellowship from, is being awarded a fellowship from Royal Society of London. Royal Society of London. Okay, very few scientists across the world, even though they do lot of research, but very few people they'll get fellowship from such a great what you call most eminent one called Royal Society of London. Among few people, our Jc Bose was one of the person who even been awarded a fellowship from a Royal Society of London, right. And apart from this, he is been established. He established a Bose Research Institute. Bose Research Institute in Kolkata. He is the one who established Bose Research Institutes. Now, let us talk about the discoveries of Jc Bose. Jc Bose is the one who got fellowship from Royal Society of London and is being established Bose Research Institute in Kolkata. Now, what did he discover? Let us study about his discoveries, right. So, let us talk about discoveries. What did he findings? About his findings, if you look at, he discovered the instrument called as coherer. Why? Because he is the one who worked as physics demonstrator. In the lab, he used to demonstrate a different type of instruments and he designed an instrument. What is that instrument called? Coherer. Very, very important. What is that instrument called? Coherer. So, Jc Bose used to work as a physics demonstrator, he used to demonstrate various instruments and he used to see what is the principle behind working of the instrument. With his own knowledge, he designed an instrument called coherer. Now, this coherer is used for what? Now, this coherer instrument, it is used to detect, a minute, what you call radio waves, minute radio waves. Wonderfully, it can detect even the minute radio waves with the help of an instrument called coherer. With the discovery and designing of the instrument coherer, he is being awarded with a first US patent. So, he is the one who has been the person who has been awarded with the patent. What was the patent he got it about coherer? It was the very first US patent. US people in very early ancient time, they never used to give patents to the Indians, even though they are the great scientists, right. So, but he is the one who got been awarded. Such a great credit goes to Jc Bose. He is the first person who got US patent. So, anything which we discover, the rights belong to us. So, we discover something means the patent rights belong to us, right. Then after this, he further continued his discoveries. He is the inventor of many instruments. Later he also discovered and he also designed another instrument. It was referred as crescograph. Another instrument, what did he discover? It was referred as crescograph. So, this is we have to remember crescograph. So, what is crescograph? Using that millionth part of millimeter can be measured with the help of crescograph. Millionth part of millimeter, first of all millimeter, I will write better full thing. So, what is mm here? You all know very well, it is called millimeter, right. So, in millimeter is such a smallest unit and in that millimeter you can see millionth part of growth of millimeter. That means using that he could able to see the minute growth of plants. Using this you could able to study a minute, very small growth which happens at a tissue level, the growth which happens at a molecular level, where one cell gives rise to two cells in the apical bud, growth occurs, right. In that millionth part of millimeter of the growth can be studied with the help of an instrument called crescograph. Right. So, that is millionth part of minute growth of the plant can be analyzed with the help of an instrument called crescograph. Later, he also said, given the statement that plants too have life. Plants too have life. Till that time, early ancient days, if you look at, the people used to treat plants as a non-living component. But Jc Bose has given the statement, plants also have life, means plants are also living organisms. To support this point, Jc Bose has studied and introduced the concept called pulsating theory. He introduced a concept which is referred as what? Pulsating theory for plants. What is pulsating theory? How living organisms have pulse. Similarly, plant also has pulse. What is that pulse? Pulsating theory, it explains about conduction of or conduction tissues which are involved in conduction of food and water. Conduction of food and water. Such a great invention, right? How do living organisms have pulse? Pulse based upon the pulse, blood pressure, right? We say living. So, earlier plants, the people never used to consider about plants, but Jc Bose said plants also too have life. To support this statement, he introduced what is called pulsating theory for plants. What is the pulse for the plant? Conduction rate. In the plants also there is a continuous conduction of food and water taken care by conduction tissues. What are they? Vascular tissues. What vascular tissues consists of? Xylem and phloem. Right. Now all his research work he has written in the book name called Researches on Irritability of Plants, and Nervous Mechanism. That was the book written by Jc Bose. What was the book? All his research findings, research discoveries he has described in the book name called Researches on Irritability of Plant and Nervous Mechanism. What is irritability of plant? The response of a plant towards the environment, impact of environment on the plant, and for every action you know equal and opposite reaction, right? What is the impact of environment on plant? In return, plant response towards the environment. The plant response towards the environment itself is called irritability. Irritability of plant and nervous mechanism. Nervous mechanism means you know neurons. Nervous system contains neurons in human beings, living organisms. Neurons carry information from top to bottom. Similarly, nervous mechanism what you find within the plant is nothing but conductive tissues, xylem components, phloem and phloem components. So, these are nothing but research findings about Jc Bose. I repeat again, let us talk about introduction about Jc Bose. Jc Bose, who is considered as father of Indian plant physiology, his contribution is greater. To whom we are talking about? Jagadish Chandra Bose. So, he is the one who got fellowship from Royal Society of London. He is one who established a Bose Research Institute in Kolkata. He is the one who got first US patent. Now, let us see the discoveries. What are the discoveries? He has made these discoveries because earlier is to work as a physics demonstrator. He designed an instrument called coherer. It is used to detect radio waves. And another instrument what he discovered is called as crescograph, which you can use to measure millionth part of millimeter can be measured. Sometimes this crescograph can be used for, if the question is given, bioelectrical impulses. means bio, within the living organism. Bio means within the living organism, within the plant. Electrical impulses such as small minute waves which have been created due to any small change in the plant that can be detected. If any change occurs in the millionth part of millimeter, also can be detected with the help of crystallograph. With this, it became possible that even plants also grow. They undergo growth phenomena. Minute growth of the plants got detected. With that, he said plants too have life, and to support this he introduced what is called pulsating theory. What is the pulse for the plants? Conductive tissues, and they involved in continuous conduction of food and water. And he has written the book name called Researches on Irritability of Plant and Nervous Mechanism. This is nothing but about introduction about Jc Bose. Now, in transport in plants, we are going to discuss about the mechanism called as what? Transportation. The mechanism called transportation. Transportation means movement from one place to other place. Mainly what is getting transported in plants? We all know it very well. It causes transportation of water. So, when water is moving from one place to other place, it also carries transportation of water, carries what not? Inorganic minerals. Along with the inorganic minerals, it also carries organic minerals. Along with that, mineral nutrients, including salts and plant growth regulators. What are the things water will carry? There is a transportation of water within the plant from one place to other place. What this water carries when it is getting transported? Water also carries, better you write down substances, better you write down inorganic compounds and organic compounds. Along with that, you can take mineral nutrients, salts and plant growth regulators, which will get transported from one place to other place. Now, if you talk about the plant, where this transportation of water is occurring? Within the plant. Where the transportation of water is taking place? Within the plant. Now, if you take the plant, so here who is playing a vital role? It's nothing but water. Water is called as liquid of life. Liquid of life, or itself is called as elixir or elixir of life. Of course, we all know it very well. Water is nothing but universal solvent. Anything can get dissolved into the water. So, water plays such an important role in carrying all the things. So, water itself is called liquid of life, elixir or elixir of life, meaning water is a main source required for transportation of compounds from one place to other place. Without water, transportation of these things cannot takes place, right. So, here when you talk about transportation, so transportation of water along with the minerals, if you take transportation of water along with the minerals, if you take, first of all, transportation of water and minerals, from where it will occur? Who is the source who will provide transportation of water and minerals in plants? It's basically from the source called soil. Soil provides water and minerals. So, within the plants there is a transportation of water and minerals. So, who is the source here? Soil acts as a source for supplying water and minerals, to plants. Obviously, we know this all. Okay. So, who is acting as a source here? Soil acts as a source for supplying water and minerals to the plants. So, what we have to talk in the entire lesson? Transportation of water carries inorganic compounds, organic compounds, mineral nutrients, salts and plant growth regulators. So, here that water occurs within the plant. Water is called liquid of life, auxiliary or elixir of life. Transportation of water and minerals in plants is supplied by the soil. Soil acts as a source for supply of all the compounds.